Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Behind the Signs. We are talking with Tami Napolitano of Awesome Graphics. Some of you might remember her from an earlier episode, but she is also the owner of Freedom Solutions. Thanks, Tami, for joining us. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm
So
doing great.
the reason why I wanted to chat with you is because it comes up in our Facebook group Behind the Signs a lot where people are asking, does anybody know a sign consultant or somebody that can help me organize my business? And I know myself over the years, having a couple different sign businesses, it would have been really helpful at points when you're kind of, stuck in the weeds and it's hard,
Sure.
you have blind spots and it's hard for you to see where you really need some help. And so I think it would have been a lot easier over the years for me to take some advice from a mentor or a sign consultant. So anyway, tell us about your services and how a sign consultant can help a sign shop to grow.
So I started Freedom Solutions because I felt the same way that you were just saying. I really felt like I needed somebody to help me along, and
Mhm.
really was trying to find somebody, that was industry specific because,
Right.
there's a lot of programs out there and people that'll come in and look at your business, but having somebody that has lived it and breathed it, because the sign industry is so unique and has so many moving parts, I think. That's where I wanted to help people because I felt like I've gone through kind of every phase of development and, wished I had it as well. So, what I like to do is just be able to talk to somebody and see where they're at in their business and where they're
Mhm.
trying to go, and then what stumbling blocks they're facing, and then come up with a plan to help um, get there and see
Yeah.
what I can do to kind of, bring some fresh perspective to maybe a mundane way of trying, or something, and ease some of that frustration.
As I talk to a lot of sign shops. Pretty much, it's my job,
I'm sure. Yeah.
and that's what I do. And
Hmm.
it's you talk to some folks, and I was talking to a guy this morning, and he said it's great. We have so much work, but the problem is that, he goes, I have this whiteboard with all these sticky notes. They're falling on the ground. I can't
Right.
keep up with the job. I feel like,
Hmm.
I feel like I'm ordering materials on the fly because we're just having to get things out the door so quickly. And, it's kind of this sense where you can sense that they're excited
Right.
because the work is coming in, but if they keep going in the direction they're going, it's just going to lead to most likely like burnout and losing
Yeah,
money. And so
absolutely.
so how do you approach like someone that calls you and says everything's fantastic yet I'm bursting at the seams and can't keep up with it all? And how do you help
Right.
with that?
Um, well, I think that, I'm partial to SignTracker because I implemented that in my business, and it really helped my business grow and be able to get out of my head and out of all my employees' heads and be able to free me up and be able to kind of, keep track of everything in one space. So I try to tailor my consulting around that platform because I feel
Mhm.
like it's so beneficial. I can certainly help in other areas as well, but I feel like you have to have something that's going to kind of streamline all of your workflow, because
Mhm.
otherwise it can be so overwhelming. And I had so many sticky notes. My mind was so full of jobs, and I kept feeling like, how am I gonna scale this? I can't scale it anymore, and
Yeah.
not in my head. There's only
Right.
so much I can contain. And so I really, that's when I really started digging down, and I started doing some research into SignTracker, and I just found it so user friendly and able, like it helped me. I was able to get in there and just kind of go for it. And
Right.
so what I do when I talk to people now, and I just talked to somebody a few minutes ago who was saying, they've been in business for a very long time, different owners and stuff, but the business is very established, and they're at a pivotal point where they need to do that. They need to get it out of her head and start,
Yeah.
having a place where they can see where everything is happening. So I kind of listen to what the person is saying, what they're facing, the struggles they're facing, and then I do kind of like a customized approach of, this is what I think I can help you with, and this is where I
Hmm.
think we can go, and
Hmm.
then kind of spell it out for them that way, because everybody's so different and everyone's processes are so different and
Right.
businesses are so different. So
Right.
it's really just kind of coming up with a custom way of tackling it.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
great. Yeah, because sometimes I think a lot of business owners they confuse busyness with profitability,
Sure.
and sometimes when you don't have a clear picture of all your processes, how things are made, how you're ordering materials, how you're
Right.
assigning how you're assigning the workflow, and you're just
Hmm.
you're busy, it's kind of like it'll create this false sense of security because, oh, look at all this work we have.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the year, it's like, where did all the
Did
money
we make
go?
money? Yeah. Exactly.
And it's,
Working smarter, not harder, right? That's the
yeah,
saying that we all try to do.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I
Hmm.
ended up working harder, not smarter, I think, a lot of years, but I
Yeah,
finally figured most of it out. But um,
same.
well, it's good. I mean, so do you feel like, do you kind of help owners step back a little bit and learn to work on the business instead of in the business and, you know,
That's my goal because that's to me that's really when you can take it from a mom and pop kind of shop, or to that smaller size shop to then really start to think about how you have to be able to work on it. And I couldn't for so long. I was just stuck in the day-to-day grind of like getting jobs done, meeting deadlines. But sometimes having a consultant, I think you can kind of show them that there's so much more you can do if you can get yourself in a position where you're not doing the actual work all the time. And
right.
sometimes it can be scary because you have to invest and you have to hire people and you have to kind of you got to look at, someone once said to me, how much are you willing to give up and how much are you willing to invest and how much are you like, how far in are you, and I had to ask myself that question, like, am I going to stay in my comfort zone where everything feels okay and safe, or am I willing to go out of that comfort zone
Yeah.
and give it my all,
Yeah.
So that's something that everybody has to answer on their own, I think. But if
Yeah.
you're willing to give it your all and you want to scale, then you have to get yourself in a position where not only are your jobs organized, but where you can step back and look at it from a different perspective and not just from the inside out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if it's something as little as, hey, my jobs are organized. I'm the workflow is going in I have this structured workflow, first in,
Right.
first out, or whatever. And hey, I can kind of look at what's coming down the pipeline and
Sure.
order materials for all the jobs at the same time and
Right.
negotiate better, pricing for materials or whatever. So
Exactly.
do you kind of help them see all those sorts
Yeah,
of,
all those avenues, like ganging up print runs and using the columns that are within SignTracker to be able to then communicate with your staff. Like the lady I had spoken to today was saying, when somebody calls for a job, I literally have to go to 5 different people to ask them, have you ordered the materials? Where's this job at? Nobody really knows except for the person that might be working on it at that moment. And it can be very difficult if somebody's out for the day or if somebody, hasn't, there's nowhere to know everything.
Mhm.
So I was explaining to her the way that this system can really alleviate that, where at any time when somebody calls, you can look and see exactly where the job is, what stage it's in, all the notes associated with it, all the art files, all the proofs. So it takes everything and makes it all so simplified, I
Yeah.
guess is the way, and you can with confidence be like, not run around, for 20 minutes. And that was my point was, yes, it's hard to find people, but if you have a great staff right now and you can shave time off of their busy days and all of a sudden add even 15% to their day of extra time to every employee just by streamlining your processes and having everything in one place, then it's like you've just gained another employee just
Yeah.
by doing, so the money, I mean, it's so worth it to me, when you look at it that way.
Oh yeah. And I mean, you think about too when you're when you're running a shop and it's chaotic and hectic, it's very
Hmm.
difficult. It's even from a marketing perspective, right? Like if you step back for a second and you really have the time to evaluate the jobs that have keeping your shop just buried, it might turn
Yeah.
out that 25% of those jobs suck.
Yeah.
And you
And just aren't worth it. Yeah.
and they're just not worth it, right? You
Right.
kind of tend to say yes. And so
Yeah.
I imagine on the marketing side, you can help help your clients identify the best clients that work well within their system and with the types of products that they really are passionate about, selling.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I think we all try to do it all, and I did that for so long too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
you'd have the little lady with the change purse coming in. And I mean, I love little ladies with change,
Yeah.
but if you take an hour of your time to print a black and white copy, you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to do the things you're really trying to do. So there's places that do just that, and that's great,
Yeah.
but it's learning to say no when sometimes it's hard to, but you just have to if you're going to be able to really do what you need to for your employees and for your clients.
It
Keep
is.
up.
It is hard to say no, but you're, I you're an Italiano, so you get it, right? We suffer with Italian guilt. I have
Yeah.
like I have these nightmares. I'll get to heaven, and it'll be like, that's him. That's the one that wouldn't make my stickers. You're
He said
out.
no. Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't work
No,
like that. But well, that's great. So how does someone get started with you? So if they, if they call you, and then where do you kind of start the process, and then, how does the follow through go, and how does it all work?
okay, so I've had a couple different scenarios that, different stages. So I've had people that are already using SignTracker software that have, been referred to me and that have contacted me. And then I have said, okay, but with anybody, whether they're using that software or not, I kind of say, well, where are you at in your business? Where are you? What's your stumbling block? And I try to get a real sense. I do a free consultation for 30 minutes
Mhm.
where we just talk about, they'll ask me a ton of questions and I'll answer those questions. And if I can, I usually can. And, I'll get a sense of where they're at and what's frustrating them and what they need help with. And, most of the time it's workflow. Most of the time it's so
Mhm.
many jobs, so many parts, and nothing organized. And they need to be able to, and even if they're using SignTracker, they might not be using it to the fullest.
Right.
So I had one client that was already using it, but they didn't even realize that you could set up on the back end, that I could help them set up all these quotes, that all they have to do, I could train their staff, and all the staff would have to do is click on one little thing and it would auto populate with all the verbiage about that quote and about that
Mhm.
product. And it would come in with pricing, but that they could also override that pricing if they wanted to. So
Right.
they didn't even know that those templates were available if they put in the time to make them, or if they hired someone like me to do that. So things like that, which could really save them a ton of time, because estimating, as you know, can take so much of your time.
Yeah.
And if you can simplify the estimating process so that anybody can do it and it can be done very quickly, it's worth that initial, well, in my opinion, it's worth that initial time that it would take me to do it on the back end to make it ready for them.
Yeah.
And, I've even said, you can do it. It's not hard. It's user friendly, but it's if you have the time to do it and if it makes sense for you to do it.
Yeah.
But when I do it, I'll then train their staff on how to use it after so that they can be ready to go. The minute I leave, I want them to be able to just start, cranking,
Good.
and be able to do that. So,
Good. Well, I guess for those folks that have been asking the question in our Facebook group,
hmm
should I use a consultant, or do you feel like a consultant can help? I would say personally, hey, it increases productivity, it
sure.
increases profitability,
hmm
increases sanity. So you should, so
Yes.
you should definitely do it. So, and I know, look, and it's easy for someone to talk the talk, but you've also walked the walk. You have a
Right.
very, very successful sign shop. And so now that you're kind of transitioning into giving back to the industry a little bit by,
hmm
getting this consulting business going,
Right.
that's great. I think it's great work that you're doing, and we
Oh,
appreciate
thank
it. It's
you.
super helpful to sign shops. And so, um, any other encouraging things you might want to talk about as far as, you know, helping folks make the decision to invest in a consultant,
Yeah.
whether it's you or
Whether it's
somebody
me or
else.
anybody that's specific to their need or where they're at. Yeah. And I think that one of the big things I like that I'm doing, that I think other consultants are doing as well, is not just having a cookie cutter. Like, I'm not just saying you have to book me for this amount of time and I'm going to do these things only. I'm going to do exactly what you need me to do. So that's the part that I would be looking for. Because if I need a consultant at the stage that I'm in, which I do, you know what I mean? I could use somebody right now for my growth process that I'm in, because I'm in a different state than I was a year ago.
Hmm.
Um, because it's ever evolving. But if I can, I like to custom tailor it. So I'll give scenarios of, here, these are the things I feel like I can do for you and help you with. And if it rings true to them, then I want them to be excited about it and to be ready to take that next step. And, my website is freedomsolutions.me. And if anybody wants to just call and talk to me and just have that free consult for 30 minutes, I'm happy to talk. And even if they don't want to hire me, I don't care. I'll just talk to them about things that maybe can help, where they're at right now. And,
Yeah,
we're all learning every day. I learn every day and challenged every day with new scenarios. So,
that's
we all
rad.
have to help each other. And look what you're doing. I love what you're doing with Behind the Signs. This has been great to be able to, and I've been learning so much myself and getting new vendors from it, which is great. So,
Good,
I love it. I love this group. So thank you for
good.
what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Tammy. Appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
always awesome to talk to you. And Yeah, we'll be in touch for sure.
Oh, and I want to say,
Oh,
if people do sign up for SignTracker with me, there's a 14-day free trial that they
yes.
can do without any credit card needed or anything like that, and 25% off their first annual subscription, and also a free starter kit, which is like a $250 value. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Good.
good perks.
Good. And you and your
And
help.
me, and then yeah, exactly.
So,
So,
all right.
all
Well,
right. Well, thank you.
yeah, thanks, Tami. And we'll make sure to put all your contact information in the notes so people know how to reach
Okay.
you. And we'll talk soon.
Okay, great.
All right. Take
Appreciate it.
care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.
If you are interested in being featured on Behind the Signs, we would love to connect with you and hear about the unique ways you are working in the sign industry. Please reach out to us on our Facebook group Behind the Signs and send us a direct message.